Hey everyone, happy Monday. Let's have a quick talk about eating fat. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel, where we upload videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Sunday, we host a live stream affectionately called Coffee Talk, where we brew a beverage, talk about some of the facts surrounding it, and then we pair it with a ketogenic recipe. But today, it's Monday, and we're going to talk about the topic of eating higher fat. This comes up periodically because, and especially recently because it's come up in a couple other live streams, not just my own, and in several Facebook groups where people are asking about the impacts of eating high fat and weight loss. Inevitably, several people often chime in that you have to cut back on the fat you're intaking so that the fat on your body is burned first. And that is technically incorrect. So, and we want to make sure that we are no longer in that mode of demonizing fat. Do you eventually want to be eating in a 1-to-1 ratio? Maybe, maybe not. But do you still need fat? Yes, because fat is the fuel for your brain and your body while you're eating in a ketogenic fashion. So, questions about that often are, will it impact my cholesterol? And the answer is maybe, but the way it impacts your cholesterol is not necessarily indicative of heart problems. In fact, it's often heart healthy the way the fat impacts you. So the key is those that you've removed the carbohydrates and ingredients that are traditionally not seen as friendly towards ketogenic living as others. So additionally, I happen to be really fortunate living here in Ohio because we have Dr. Volek's research center here at OSU, which has a high focus on ketogenesis and low carbohydrate living. So there's a lot of research papers out of there, and I often get a hold of the most modern new releases, and I'm a big nerd, so I dive right into the medical journals and all of that. The other person that we have is Dr. Mark Hyman out of Cleveland Clinic. And if you aren't familiar with Dr. Hyman, you should pick up his book, Eat Fat, Get Thin. Dr. Hyman is a well-known medical professional out of the Cleveland Clinic. He is nationally known for his innovative research on ketogenesis and low carbohydrate living, particularly in a high-fat fashion. He's done tons and tons of research about the damaging effects of high sugar eating in our society. So he's really a huge proponent of low carbohydrate living, and the data that he'll provide you and the education in his book is really good. So again, that's Dr. Mark Hyman, Hyman. His book is called Eat Fat, Get Thin, and I really have to say it's a really excellent resource, and I cannot recommend it enough. So back to the topic at hand. So eating fat is good for you. Yes, it is. Also caveat, I might talk about Dr. Mark Hyman. I can't say his name. Dr. Mark Hyman and Drs. Jeff Volek and Drs. Phinney. You'll hear me talk about Dr. Berry and his opinions as well. But I myself am not a medical doctor. So don't take medical advice from me from the internet. Do some research. Take the information that we give you on a channel like this or other channels that are keto influencers. Take that information with you to see your medical professional and, do that information exchange. You can learn from each other, medical doctors can be open-minded. We aren't anti-medical professionals, even though sometimes it sounds like it. So I highly encourage you, work with them so that you can all change and learn about the newest, latest, and greatest research out there. So eating lots of fat. And when you're obese, let me start right off with that whole, I need to cut back how much fat I'm eating so it burns off my body first. That's not how it works. Just like a lot of the other things we talk about, fat burning is not if you've got it stored, you have to burn that first. It's a demand-driven piece of your metabolic system. So when you're not intaking enough, your body is storing it. And yes, sometimes it stores too much because it's not getting the nutrition it needs that is provided in the dietary fat you intake. So if you're eating sufficient fat, your body can stop panicking about not having enough, and then it can release some of the stored fat. And that is why you can continue to eat fat in a reasonable quantity, in line with what your TDEE, that's a total daily energy expenditure, and your macronutrient needs tell you is an appropriate amount. And over time, you'll develop those skills for a more intuitive sort of eating. Initially, if you're not sure, and if you've got some broken parts where you don't know where your satiety level is, you don't know how to tell, maybe you don't have that I'm full switch, things like that, tracking is going to be crucial for you. You'll learn and you'll get there. It takes a long time. It's a hard thing to learn. But yes, eating lots of the correct fats will help you lose weight. The right fats to increase your metabolism, stimulate fat burning, they'll reduce your hunger, and they will help optimize your cholesterol profile, help reverse things like type 2 diabetes, and reduce your risk for heart disease. It's proven out in medical studies. You'll find them in the AMA journals and many, many others. It's been proven time and time again. It just doesn't necessarily trickled out into a lot of the medical world because we've got a lot of manufacturing and other capitalistic sort of influences in our medical system. So we're our own best advocates. And working with your medical professional paired with these kind of resources, you can really get a good plan together for you. Really important out of these studies is that it comes up with that sugar, not fat, is the villain in this whole scenario. So you don't have to cut back your fat. Now, like anything, there's no such thing as unlimited. There is no such thing as an unlimited gorge to, bursting at the seams. I need to cut the elastic on my sweatpants because I've eaten so much. And yeah, that's not a thing anyway, no matter what plan you follow. Can you eat a healthy amount of caloric intake and probably more than you would on a calorie-restricted diet following a ketogenic plan? Yes. You are encouraged to eat the amount of food that your body needs to maintain and thrive. Not just maintain, not just survive, thrive. That means getting enough intake into your body that you have full nutrition and enough to cover all of your activities. The problem with caloric restrictive diets is that they want you to have a survival minimalist calories, which does not provide you enough nutrition to thrive. And that slows down your metabolism. It's why you get tired. It's why your hair falls out. All kinds of things. It's why you get vitamin deficiencies. And it's not that you can't get vitamin deficiencies following a ketogenic plan. You absolutely can if you're not paying attention to the foods you intake and getting to know that kind of stuff. So in that avenue, basically healthy cell walls made from high quality fats, they're better able to metabolize insulin. This keeps your blood sugars well regulated, or better regulated. I shouldn't say well. There's always that outliers. And if you don't have good blood sugar control, the body socks away things for a rainy day. stores it all up and make sure that you're not going to struggle later for it, which is again what I was saying before about demand driven. Right fats will help you increase your fat burning. So there's that negative against the whole argument of I need to cut my dietary fat so that it burns what's on my body. No, intaking enough fat is what allows you to have that happen. So eating the right fats will help you lose weight, and then eating excess sugar or starches, those are definitely going to make you fat. Let's see. I'm getting on a tear here, so I gotta put my thoughts together. Now I want to make you know that no, I don't necessarily believe there's anything wrong with fat. If you are fat and you're very happy and you are healthy and you don't want to lose weight, by all means, that is up to you. But regardless of whether you want to be fat or not fat, better nutrition and heart health are still goals that you want to have. And being fat may or may not impact that at all. That's between you and your medical health professionals to make that determination. Now, you should know that your body gives you signals about whether you're getting enough quality fat. And we'll talk about what quality fat is in a little bit, but we'll just keep using those words and then we'll backtrack and go over that part. But it gives you signals. If you're eating high quality fat, the better your body's going to function because your body uses the fat you intake to build your cell walls. You have trillions and trillions and trillions of cells in your body. And there's an anime about that too. Just so you know, there's your extra geek factor. You if you like anime, watch Cells at Work. It doesn't really deal with this necessarily, but it does give you like some interesting ideas and some perspective, and medical professionals who watch it in like their react videos are like, hey, they got the science right. Derailed by my nerddom. Okay. Things that might be telling you that you're not getting enough good fat would be brittle nails. If your nails are brittle and cracky and you know, like soft and way too bendy so that they break and maybe chunk off, yeah, that's a sign that you're not getting enough fat or you're not getting enough healthy fats. So itchy or flaky skin, a hard one maybe to diagnose sometimes, but hard earwax. So if you'll want to pay attention to that. Tiny bumps on the backs of your arms or on your torso area. And you'll know when you get those because it's really annoying to have like them little teeny tiny rough bumps on your arms. If you're eating a proper healthy quantity of good fats, your skin will clear up. Contrary to what we say, your skin will clear up and it will be nice and lovely and soft. And achy, stiff joints is another sign. So if you've cut back your fat too much and you don't have like an arthritis or other joint impacting disease, but you are getting achy and stiff, even though you're not working extra hard outside in the fields or something, you might want to take a look at your intake and see what your ratios are like and how much fat you're eating. Have you cut it back too much? Take care of that. Eat fat with every time you eat because the right amount of fat will also help with your mood. Again, your skin, hair, and nails, and also help with reversing type 2 diabetes. There are a lot of medical studies that say eating a higher fat diet helps us with dementia prevention and Alzheimer's. Lots and lots of studies still early in their infancy, but also pointing about how a high-fat ketogenic diet is helping with cancer remission and development of metastasized cancers. Not 100% proven yet, but well in the works, and those studies are a fascinating read. So those are some things. And I think a lot of this you may have heard because I know other influencers are addressing this issue as well. But when I said, wow, good, now I can be lazy and I don't have to give this talk and lecture, people said, no, want you to do this because that's what we, nerdity and all of these long-winded speeches is what we like. So now you're in for it. So, good, healthy sources of fats. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm coming from a purely ketogenic eater, not from a carnivore perspective, not from an elimination diet perspective. I'm talking your old school keto. So know that if you need to make adjustments because you need a more strict plan or a plan that better fits you, or if you have allergies or things like that, take it with a I'm making a pun, a grain of salt. Some of these options are maybe not for you, but avocados. I love the fat from avocados. It's so good for you, even though there are some carbohydrates in the avocado. I account for it within my daily intake. It's a healthy, non-digestible fiber that the carbohydrates come from. It's not a sneaky, starchy fiber or anything like that. The avocado is great for me. Now, controversial, I know. A lot of people, especially some of our very favorite influencers, are anti-nuts. But I'm going to tell you that if you can control yourself, a serving of nuts, and by nuts I am saying macadamia nuts, walnuts, almonds, pecans, and Brazil nuts. A serving of those nuts every couple days will not be bad for you. But if you cannot just have that serving every few days and use that as part, and you're getting yourself into trouble and you can't resist and you eat more and more, then absolutely they have to go. I will say, not peanuts. Peanuts are a legume, and if we're talking about optimizing things, peanuts are not great for you. Now, I am not perfect, and I do occasionally have the peanut, but I do have to be very cautious about it, and usually after I eat them, I'm not in my best. So I have to say they're not the greatest choice. The other thing that you'll hear a lot of people say is don't eat seeds. Seeds are bad, seeds are dangerous, seeds are this. I still eat seeds. I haven't had negative impacts from them, and I am not carnivore, so I do eat seeds. Now, I don't eat seeds every day. I don't eat seeds even every week. But when I do eat seeds, I don't have a problem with pumpkin seeds. I don't have a problem with chia seeds, and I don't have a problem with hemp hearts, which are a seed. So those are my seeds of choice, and I usually have them every so often, usually with as a hot cereal type of recipe. My next choice would be fatty fishes. See, I am just blowing it all away because I know a lot of people don't like fish. They don't like fish because it's not beef, and it's not bacon, and it's not pork. And for some reason, fish have fallen out of favor in a lot of keto circles, but I love fish, and fish loves my heart health. So I am delighted to eat my salmon. I love sardines. I know, don't even start. They're salty, little, delicious fat bombs of excellence for me. I'm not as fond of herring and mackerel, but I don't mind eating them with like some salads or with like a fatty dressing. But those are all the fish that are really good in omega-3 fats. And omega-3 fats are super, super good for you. Those are fats that we are looking for. So I do not have one lick of problem whatsoever with eating salmon. I don't find it to be bad for me in any way, shape, or form, and I encourage you to eat it if you eat fish. Obviously, if you are non-pescatarian carnivore, then it's not for you. But for most people, those fish that I mentioned are probably just fine and dandy. Next up would be the avocado oil and olive oil. I think those are great. Now you do have to be careful because, as you know, there were the recent findings about the not great olive oils and avocado oils, and sometimes issues with the freshness of them. So make sure that you do your research to find the brands that were given the thumbs up, and make sure that you are getting a good oil. Animal products. So that would be your lard and tallows, and your grease byproducts, so your pork. So those are really perfect. So I do, and actually I've found like some Wagyu beef tallow that's just like divine, and I've really fallen in love with that. So there's that. But for the most part, I usually render my own tallow. I just buy a whole brisket and then I trim and cut it up myself, and then I render it down, and I have tallow forever. So really simple, and of course, like most people in our ketogenic circles, I save off my bacon grease. I give it a nice strain, and actually I keep a bit that's not strained that I use up more quickly, and then one jar that is strained that's very tidy and not quite as bacony, but still excellent source. And then extra virgin coconut butter, coconut oil. So there you go. A lot of people don't care for that because it's plant-based, but for me, it has a lot of positives. It's a good fuel for your mitochondria. It's an anti-inflammatory, so it may even help your cholesterol. I don't have evidence for that yet. I know there are about 3 to 4 studies about that in progress, but the only study that I've been a part of has been one because of the anti-inflammatory properties and the hopeful impacts they have for reducing the inflammation on rheumatoid arthritis. So that's the main things there. That's why we should continue to eat our fat in our ketogenic food plans. I'd love to hear what more questions you have, things that I skipped, because, these are only like 15, 20-minute videos. You can only go so far down the rabbit hole. So let me know what questions you have in the comments. Let me know what other topics you want to hear about. We'll get right back to our cooking and our fermenting and our pickling and summer canning real soon here. But I also think these little fact-based things are pretty awesome once in a while as well. That's all I got for today. So you have a great one. Remember that you are awesome. If you feel discouraged, just reach right out and say, hey, I'm having a rough day, and we'll do our best to uplift you. I'm looking forward to troubleshooting some recipes to see if we can get some help for some of our friends who are having a struggle. And I'm always looking for new ideas for us to work out together. Have a good one. I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon for notifications. And there's your standard YouTube spiel. Have a great one. Bye-bye.